Yo, what's up? My name is Jack. I live in Seoul, South Korea. Been here for almost exactly 10 years. And since I've been here, people have been asking me a lot of questions about what it's like to live in Korea. But beyond that, people want to know these days about what it's like to live here with this whole corona thing going on. So I figured I will walk around and show you what it looks like and let you know what the people here in Korea are doing to kind of solve the problem. So let's go. This quarantine beard is kind of crazy. One of the first things, I guess most obvious things you'll notice here is that most people are wearing masks. And that's because the government was, I guess they found a way to make masks easily available to you if you wanted them. There's no mask shortage anymore. There used to be. But what the government did was create a rationing system that allows you to go get masks on a designated day. So, for example, if you go to the pharmacy on Monday, only people whose birth years end in a 1 or a 6 can go pick up masks. On Tuesday, it's 2 and 7, Wednesday, 3 and 8, and so on. So that kind of worked. That allowed the manufacturers to catch up, and that stopped people from hoarding because you're only allowed to buy 2 on your designated day. And the total price is like it's about $3 for 2 masks. So it worked out. Now masks are available in the markets and the stores or whatever as they used to be. They're more expensive, but they're available. Something I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about Koreans wearing masks is that it's just pretty much the culture here. People have been wearing masks for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but for a while. And it's not always for the reason that you think it is. Many people think that Asians are paranoid because of whatever illness or whatever sickness, be it SARS, MERS, or whatever. No, it's actually more so because they're being considerate. For example, if I have a cold or if I have the flu or something, if I call for sneeze, at least I only call for sneeze into my mask. I'm not coughing on you or coughing onto the railing of something or something you can touch. It's the Asian way of being considerate. It's not paranoia. I'm on the bus, so I kind of gotta whisper a little bit. I hope you can hear me. Something else I think is pretty cool. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. I'm talking about when I walk into a store, if I walk into a restaurant, even when I'm on the bus, it's everywhere. Like, I walk on the bus, I can squirt hand sanitizer. Now, truth be told, I carry my own at all times, but it's a pretty cool thing to have just at any time I want it. So one of the places I wanted to check out was the airport. I don't have time or patience to go all the way out to Incheon International Airport, which is the large airport out here. But I live in West Seoul, so I'm pretty close to Gimpo Airport, which is the second airport, the other international airport in Seoul. So I was kind of curious what it would be like here, since a lot of flights have been canceled. You pretty much can't go anywhere. It's not locked down like other countries are, but a lot of airlines are canceling flights in and out of Korea for various reasons. Although it's not really a surprise, it is very interesting to see how dead the airport actually is. I mean, again, this is not the large airport in Seoul, but by no means is it ever this empty. Although I really want to go inside and kind of see what it looks like in there. That's one thing I won't do, because they say the majority of new cases here have been from people overseas bringing it back to Korea, or bringing it into the country. And although Korea has a pretty good system set up to decrease the numbers of incoming infections, it ain't perfect yet. So the outside is about as far as I'll go. But just so you know, if you do plan to come to Korea anytime soon, that you will be put under a mandated 14-day quarantine. If you are a short-term visitor, or if you're coming here even just for business or something, I guess, they will put you in a government facility for 14 days, and that government facility will cost you $100 a night. So plan to add another $1,400 to your travel cost another $1,400 and another 14 days if you plan to come to Korea anytime soon. If you are a resident here and you're just returning from another country, they'll allow you to go home, but you still have to stay at home for 14 days, and they'll track you via an app that they install on your phone at the airport. Of course, there's mandatory testing when you arrive. They're doing all that they can, but I'm still not going in there. All right, so enough of the outskirts of Seoul. Let's hit the subway and see what's going on in other parts of the city. Wash your hands, cover your mouth, wear a mask. It's that simple. Obviously, the virus has hit, every business and every industry pretty hard, unless you're in the business of making masks or sanitizer. But one of the industries that seems to be hit the hardest is the travel and tourism industry, obviously, because ain't nobody going anywhere. People are trying to pretty much stay at home. And that's evident by being here in the city center, the square, basically. I think this is called Gwanghwamun Square. And there's pretty much no tourists out here. Everybody, it seems to be going home from work, or maybe I saw 2 or 3 people that I might assume were tourists just because they were running around taking pictures and videos, but so am I, so who knows. But it's just pretty interesting that, and I guess, like I said, none of it's a surprise. It's just more so of an observation and to see what it looks like now. Truthfully, I don't know what nobody knows what it's going to be like on the other side of all of this. But just, I'm curious how certain industries are going to recover. How are travel and tourism going to recover? How are the entertainment industry is going to recover that, survive based on large concerts and gatherings? Who knows? It all remains to be seen. It's pretty common knowledge that Korea has handled the virus pretty well. Most people credit that to the amount of testing that they do. It's been said that they do 10,000, 20,000 tests a day, and that's awesome. I also think that the amount of information that we get here goes understated in the media. For example, we get these text messages every day that tell us where to go and where not to go, what to avoid, gives us a lot of different information. For example, a text message might tell me to avoid a certain area because there's a new cluster, or it might tell me that there's a restaurant down the street where somebody contracted the virus, and if you've been there within the past week, you should probably go get tested, things like that. And not only do we get the text messages, there are websites available that use government data and other information to kind of pinpoint specific places and specific information that we as people who live here need to know. And I'm gonna get some coffee real quick and show you a little bit about that. This would probably be the only time anybody will ever see me eat a bagel with a fork and a knife. So this website is actually my local website. I live in Gangseok, West Seoul. And on this website I can get a lot of information regarding what's going on with the virus in my specific neighborhood. Like, for example, on April 7th, 2020, they found patient number 25. And I can get a lot of information about patient 25, where they found them, how old they were, their gender. So there's a man in their 40s was found in this area. This is actually the timetable of his movement. So, for example, he came into Incheon International Airport at 6 a.m. At 9 a.m. he went here. He was wearing a mask. They tell you whether he was wearing a mask or not. At 9:20 he went here. You can tell you whether he had a mask or not. And so on and so forth. They even tell you when they moved them to the hospital or when they put them in the quarantine. So it's a lot of good info, and it will help out. It will help people who live in that neighborhood, this specific area, to know whether or not they need to be concerned. Was I in this, was I near this area at 9 a.m. or not? So here's another really cool website. It's called Corona Map. It allows us to pinpoint exactly where the cases have been visually. So, for example, if I look at Seoul, I can see how many cases have been, active in Seoul within the past 9 days. If I zoom into street level, I can see exactly where these cases were. So, for example, this red dot here was a new case that's less than 24 hours old. If I zoom all the way in to street level, I can see exactly which neighborhood it was found in. So, I probably wouldn't go there. I'm sure, and this is Seoul, so they're probably disinfecting it already, but I wouldn't take that chance. I would just, stay away from it as long as I could, or at least until the dot turned green. As you can see, these green dots mean that the case was 4 to 9 days old, so it's probably good to go there. You can, pretty much guarantee that the city has disinfected the area. Oh, somebody's about to get towed. I decided to stop by Itaewon, which is one of the big entertainment districts in Seoul. I was curious what things were like, since the government pretty much mandated that a lot of the nightlife be shut down. So all the big clubs are closed down. And I thought the bars would be too, to be honest with you, but apparently not. People are still going out. People are still having fun. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's a capacity limit or something like that determines whether or not you got to close, or maybe there's some other certain designation by the government that determines whether or not you're supposed to shut down. But these places are still open. People are still going. Some of the bars here are at least trying to show that they care, and it's not all about the bottom line, you know what I mean? They're at least trying to be careful. What they're doing is checking your temperature as you go in and writing down your name and your information. So if somebody in the bar does end up having corona, then at least they can contact you and let you know, hey, you're at risk. There was a club in the Gangnam area, I think it was. I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but there was a club just recently, within the past week or so. A bartender found out that this bartender had the virus, and so now she put all of the people at risk that she served drinks to. She put her co-workers at risk. The club, I think, holds like 500 people, so all 500 people that went to that club that night, they're trying to track them and see where they are, and so they can get tested before they spread it. I mean, look, if you want to play with your own life, do it, but you're actually putting other people at risk that don't want to be playing with their own lives, you know what I mean? Please present your passport. It actually became a bit of a meme for us here in Korea to take pictures with toilet paper and other kinds of things that the people out west were panic buying, because out here we didn't have that problem. In Korea, there's not really much of a panic. I mean, we never ran out of toilet paper. We never ran out of food. There were never any necessities. The only thing that really we ran out of here were masks and somewhat hand sanitizer, and that was only temporary. In reality, people here in Korea don't panic when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, we've been dealing with MERS, SARS, Ebola to some extent. Like, people here just kind of used to it. Like even more than the pandemics, people here don't panic because they've been dealing with the threat from North Korea forever, it feels like, you know what I mean? Whereas out in the Western media, we're normally, told that it's normally showed that we're, freaking out over here. Everybody's worried about, the impending war. When in reality, it's, oh, Kim Jong-un dropped another bomb? Oh, okay. What do you want for breakfast? Oh snap, they got classical. How much is this? So things here in Seoul continue to get better. The numbers continue to get better. The curve is being flattened, as they say. Everybody's doing their part. And I just, I kind of wanted to just show another version, I guess, of what could be done compared to things that are being done back home in the States or in other countries in the world. Just so people can make more informed decisions about things such as, maybe policy, opinion, legislation, whatever it is. I hope that somebody could watch this video and see a different version of whatever's going on in their town and make a decision that could be better for the citizens where they live. But if it's not even that deep for you, if you just watch this just for information or out of curiosity, I hope you at least enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.